Your Amazon store might be costing you sales, and most seven-figure brands don't even realize it. Welcome to the Six Figure Amazon Store podcast, where we help you boost order value, keep customers coming back, and turn more clicks into sales to scale your brand on Amazon. Let's dive in. Having an Amazon storefront is essential if you have more than one product and you're trying to hit six figures on Amazon. That's essential for you as well. If you've already surpassed six figures and you're nearing seven figures, I'm going to share with you today what you need to know to keep growing from seven to then eight figures. So many brands invest in things on Amazon like ads, product optimization, meaning their listings, and keyword targeting for on their ad side and obviously organically in their listings. But a lot of brands overlook an important aspect of their Amazon strategy, and that is the assets inside their Amazon storefront, Amazon stores page, if you will. And if your store isn't structured like a high converting landing page, you're losing money every single day. And I've talked on other episodes about the importance of increasing things like your average order value on Amazon and also increasing how often customers come back and buy from you again. And this is where your Amazon brand store helps customers. And as a quick reminder, your Amazon brand stores, it kind of acts, I like to think of it like your own website within Amazon. And you can have your store linked from all of your product listings to direct people to those pages. Now, a well-optimized store, it can get more viewers to buy. And you also, the one thing I really love it is you're not competing with others, other ads popping up in your store's page. So it can lower ad costs because a higher converting store increases how much customers buy from your brand and overall your profitability. It also reinforces your brand's credibility and it leads to higher repeat purchase rates for new subscribers. And we typically see a higher order value that's higher than your average from off of, not ordering from your brand stores page. So another little side thing is that customers can actually follow your brand. When they click on that top left, they can click that follow button inside of your Amazon stores. So in the next 10-15 minutes or so, I'm going to walk you through 3 quick optimizations that can immediately boost your Amazon brand store performance and help you convert more traffic into customers, because that's really what you want to leverage for your Amazon stores. Now, if you're a 7-figure seller, or maybe you're a high or mid 6-figure seller and you're looking to improve your conversions and your brand presence, stick around. This episode is for you. Now, for established brands, your Amazon storefront isn't just a digital catalog. It's really a crucial part of your overall growth strategy on Amazon. And if you've never had a store set up, that should be a priority for your brand this quarter if you sell more than one product on Amazon, because this is how you can cross-sell on Amazon. You can also inform curious shoppers of any new product launches, and you can build more credibility with shoppers as well. So really, if you're a high growth brand, you need more than just product listings. Obviously, product listings are foundational, and I've talked a lot about those and things that you need in your listings. But the store isn't just a place to house your products. It really needs to act as a conversion hub. So it should guide shoppers to what should their next purchase be, or if they've never bought from you before, what additional things could they be buying from you? It can really reinforce your brand identity. So you want to make your products, if it's applicable, to feel premium or whatever branding you're trying to target and to market to these new people that are first interacting with your brand. You can also work on maximizing your customer lifetime value, because you can promote things like your bundles that you have. You can promote your best sellers and also those higher margin products, the ones that you really want to get selling more on Amazon. Now, this will depend on how you set up your brand stores. And let me share a few things of where some brands go wrong on this. And a lot of times they kind of treat their Amazon brand stores as an afterthought. They don't also sometimes analyze their store's conversion rate, looking and seeing what is happening. And a lot of times they're sending expensive ad traffic to poorly optimized pages or brand stores that are not really set up to convert and get people to, interact more with your brand and even buy more from your brand. So your store isn't just about existing. Obviously, that is a good starting point, but it does need to be optimized for conversions if you want to maximize your revenue. So let me break down 3 quick fixes that you can implement right now to optimize your brand store and increase those conversions. First, I want to talk about you want to navigate your store to guide buyers efficiently. The number one mistake that I see a lot of brands making, even those that are at 7 figures, poor navigation. If your store is confusing, customers will leave, and that is something that you want to avoid. So you don't want to dump all of your products into one page without a clear flow. Also, if customers don't know where to go next, they leave. This isn't too big of a problem with brand stores on Amazon because there's usually not too many pages, but there's a few fixes that I want to share that I think will help with these mistakes. And you do want to structure your store like a conversion funnel. So you want to have a hero section, for instance, where you're really showcasing your brand promise, your best sellers, those things that you really want to first highlight. This would be on the homepage within your stores. You also want to talk about within your stores, your top categories. So you want to group products. We actually like grouping those by need rather than just type. For instance, you could say, and this will just depend on your brand, but you don't want to just necessarily say here's shampoos, but maybe you have shampoos that are targeted to a specific need. Maybe it's a specific, for people with thick hair. You want to make sure that they can really, basically they can relate to that right away and see this is something that might fulfill a need that I have, maybe one that I wasn't even originally going to buy from you when they're on your stores page. And this is just really one of our favorite ways to organize brand stores that have multiple pages that do have a larger catalog. And when I say larger catalog, I mean technically if you have more than 2 products, it does make sense to have this set up. And this helps shoppers to know if your brand can help them solve their problem. Like I said, what they're shopping for, but also the other problems that they might have. You also want to have product pages. So this is really easy with brand stores, but you want to have things like your bundles, those best sellers, your other key collections, because we've found that the less the shoppers have to click add to cart from your stores, the better it is for conversions. So there's different ways to add products within your stores page. You want to make sure that they are having to click less to add it to their cart. You want to make it as easy and seamless as possible. And obviously you want to continue to optimize this and test this, but this is what we found to work the best. Also, you want call to action sections, which is a little bit different for brand stores on Amazon, but essentially think about cases where you may want to drive urgency. So if you have, for instance, deals, and we've done this seasonally, like events such as Black Friday, Cyber Monday, something that's going on for just a short time, make sure you're letting people know what that is and what products that may apply to, or if it's your entire catalog, etc. Now, right now, we don't really have something like you would on your website, which is something called heat maps that you have, but we can see in analytics for, inside your brand stores, when you look at See Insights, you can see what pages are viewed. You can see how long shoppers are viewing your brand store. So that way you can get a sense of where customers visit and how quickly you have to really capture their attention with your offers. And I would say the majority of the almost across the board, we've never seen this not be the case, but the homepage is typically going to be the one that's going to get the most visits, but then you do want to look at what's being most visited after that. Second thing I want to talk to you about is improve your brand story with strong visuals and messaging. So shoppers are not just buying products, but they do buy from brands. Your Amazon store is where your brand story can come to life. Yes, there are products still on Amazon where people are just looking for the cheapest price. So that will depend on your category. Hopefully you've set yourself apart because you really don't want to position yourself as having to be just always the lowest price. And really, this is something that's just not sustainable. So you want to set yourself apart from those, like I said, that aren't basing their decisions on price alone. Because yes, that does happen with some products and categories, but many shoppers are really looking for more and beyond that. So a mistake I see is sometimes brands are focusing too much on individual products and not enough on the overall brand experience. It should be very cohesive. They sometimes have weak visuals, generic messaging, no brand differentiation. Recently, I did an episode where I shared how you should ideally get real lifestyle photos done and refresh those every year or every other year to avoid something called visual fatigue or banner blindness. And if they've visited and revisited your stores page on Amazon, they may start to ignore overly familiar visuals, which is why you want to be refreshing it every year ideally or every other year. Now, the fix to that problem, you should be using a bold above the fold banner. Above the fold, so as soon as they get into your brand stores page, what are they seeing? You should have your core value proposition there. We also like customizing this seasonally when it makes sense, and also testing different versions of your brand stores, which is something you can do as well. And another thing to do is feature those comparison charts and lifestyle images to really showcase the benefits of your products. Also, we love using high quality short videos to build trust and engagement because video content just is continuing, I think, to really take the lead in what is really going to establish yourself as a real business that's serious about what they do, and you're really going to differentiate yourself on Amazon, especially because you're taking things to the next level. Now, a little pro tip. Your store should look and feel similar to your direct-to-consumer website. So your own website, there should be a cohesive branding happening, and you should have similar messaging, strategic call to actions. They're obviously going to look different on your Amazon stores as they would on your website, because for Amazon, the call to actions are very straightforward. They can, for instance, add it to their cart. They could get more information about a product by clicking more details or going into the listing. They can follow your brand. And remember, many new brands are being discovered first through Amazon searches. And if they end up going to your stores page, you do want them to remember your brand if they end up going to your website in the future. So that is why you want to make sure there is that cohesive branding. You're using your brand style guide as you've built this brand stores. The messaging is very similar. So this seems very familiar. That's really what you want to have happen when people are going to your Amazon brand stores page. Third, let's talk about data and split testing to increase conversions. So if you are not tracking your store's conversion rate, this could be with any data, you're really kind of making decisions and flying blind, which is what you don't want to do. So mistakes that we see are CMOs are focusing on ad performance, which is obviously definitely a good thing to be paying attention to, but they ignore Amazon Store Analytics and they haven't really dug deep into that. Now, there's no really tracking of what's actually driving purchases. That's another mistake. You actually should be looking at the sources of your traffic for your brand stores page. Now, it's not as robust right now as I would like for it to be, but as of right now, you can see how much is coming from your ads, how much is coming organically, how much is coming from another source, which is just in the category of other right now. That's what I'm saying. It's not as robust as I would want it to be. But you should be looking at that, because if you're not tracking what's actually driving purchases, then you don't know how well your store is performing. So a few fixes to this is you should be checking your Amazon stores and look at the store insights. You should also look at your Amazon brand analytics. Find in your store insights, where are people dropping off? You can also use your brand stored versions to test different things, such as that hero banner that I mentioned earlier, even the products and how they're laid out and where they're laid out, the pages, and even what you name the pages. Like I was saying earlier, you may want to base it more rather than just saying something generic, such as shampoos. You may want to really address the issue with, especially if you have multiple shampoos, of what are these shampoos hitting? Or what is this, what makes sense to group with, your larger catalog of these problems, and this is what it kind of hits. Now, obviously, it's going to vary based on how big your catalog is, on how you name them, but you should look at making sure it makes sense and that it's driving people to buy more from your brand stores. And here's a little pro tip. Your Amazon stores should evolve based on the data, not just the aesthetics. So the aesthetics are important, as I was saying earlier, but you should also make sure your data is driving your decisions. And for a quick recap, if you want to optimize your Amazon store for maximum conversions, there's 3 things to focus on. You want to fix your store navigation so that buyers can buy efficiently, buy quickly, add to their cart. You want to make sure you're improving your brand story with those high quality visuals, clear messaging. And you also want to use data and analytics to test different versions to make smarter optimization decisions when you're looking at improving how much people are buying from your brand stories page. How long are people staying on your brand stories pages? Where do they go? These are the things that you're going to look at, measure, and then look to improve. So your Amazon store is really a revenue driving asset. So if you are running a 7-figure brand and your store isn't built for conversions, you are leaving money on the table. So this is something that you want to make sure that you are looking to really optimize. Your time is your most valuable asset. So I want to thank you for tuning in today to this podcast, and I will talk to you next week. Bye. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I hope it brought you value you can use to grow your Amazon sales channel for your brand. What would really help me a ton, like, you know how important product reviews are on Amazon? Would you take a quick minute and leave me a review on Apple Podcasts? Just scroll down until you see the write a review in purple, and then you can click the leave the rating and review there. That'll help me to know you're getting value from this and what future content you want to hear more of that would serve you best. Thank you so much.